Welcome back, children, to the world of pandas. We finished 2 sessions where we understood how to create the different series in pandas using your list, your dictionary and your NumPy. Apart from that, we learned new functions in pandas where we understood you can extract your index and your values separately. Then we moved on and understood that slicing can also be done. Then modifying can also be done, which we have done in your NumPy, using index and using location. I hope you don't have any doubt regarding this. If at all, as I said earlier, you can check it out with your Python's coding. That means you try out these things in Python and let me know whether any doubt is there. Index is that index corresponding data type which we use, and location is the the location 0 to that number of sizes inside your series. That we have learned properly and we understood this much. We also learned the index itself can be changed. All these were repeated once again just to make sure that you are on track. Now to the new section. Sorting. Sorting of values in pandas. As you know, different methods are there in your Python for sorting, for your list and for your NumPy. Here we have a ready-made function. So sorting is not at all difficult over here. For here you have first the creation level where I have created a subject and marks as your section, and I have printed where you can see this one, the answer for it. After that you are introduced with the new function called as sort_values, which is of course again a part of your corresponding df2, that is not with PD. Like you should understand now onwards, with PD you can create PD.series, and then you came over here, you created again PD.series. But when you came for index and when you came for values, we didn't use PD. You have to use a corresponding data frame with which you created your series, and that data frame is a name I have used. DF stands for data frame, or you can simply say it's a variable. So this variable name should be used to extract your index and values. Similarly, when you come to sorting also, you are not using PD. That means index, values and this sorting, all these functions are the part of the corresponding new variable which you created. Don't get confused. You have to be very clear. PD is the alias name for your pandas creation. With that, we only created a series. So PD.series. All other functions and all other keywords which we are learning is accessed using the variable to which you are storing your series. I hope it's clear. So the function called the sort_values is being accessed using df2, which is my variable name, and that is stored back to df2 itself. That means if I want, I can create df1, df3, any other names also. But what I did here is I stored it back. That means the style of arrangement which is here is changed, and now by default it is in the ascending order. So you can see that I have given the same thing here with the highlighting. According to the sorting series of your values, the data which is your marks, data is taken into consideration, and according to data, see, your index also changed. So BS came first, accountancy came second, physics came third, and so on. Whereas when I entered, this was a style. So there is no need of any loop, there is no need of any kind of new logic. Just use this, you will get your corresponding mark sorted. So imagine when you create a software, how easy it will be, especially for the mark, sorting and all those things, to just give a function and get your output. So basically, as I always say, Python is blessed with enormous number of libraries, and in the libraries a lot of functions are there. With one particular section or one particular statement, you can create a lot of wonderful outputs. So one such is over here. Every output, as you can see, automatically the corresponding data type will come, which you need not worry about. So sorting in ascending is over. Now you should know in sorting is done with descending also. Now see, for that, the first sorting, no argument is there. Second time, I am doing the same thing with DF2 and I am putting it back into that, and you can see that your argument is given ascending equal to false. You can see your F is in capital, which is your keyword or your data type for your false boolean values, false. So F should be in capital. So ascending equal to false if you give, then automatically which is coming in ascending order will be removed, and you can see your answers or your sorted values in your descending order. There is a small mismatch here, you can see here. Let me just try whether it's coming in properly. Yes. Now, the topper came on the top as usual, and then it is coming in the descending order. So now that's your output. I have tried this in the Python and then only I have copied it. So no need to worry whether the output is correct or not. This is the output for your ascending order, and this is the output for your descending order. Remember, no such keywords called as descending. You have to just give ascending equal to false. That means there is no way if you give descending equal to true will work. You can try again with your system and get back to me regarding this. So the argument inside sort value is either ascending equal to true, which is always by default true, or ascending equal to false, which you have to give if you wanted to display the values in descending order. So that's regarding sort underscore values. Now you have the next set of functions, head and tail functions. The new function which we have never seen anywhere. Now, what is it? You need to see there is an argument there, head and tail. See, as it is given here, it is used to fetch the first n rows. What is this n here? Well, n is a number, a numerical value which you give inside that. What you give there from there, you take that n rows. So, if you already have created a pandas object, what I mean was with pandas object is your pandas series, that is your DF1 or a series creation which you have done. From that, the first set of n rows is created. Example will be shown. That means, suppose if I am doing this, the first 4 rows if I wanted to give, I have to just give inside here 4. Same way tail. It just fetches the last n rows which you have created from your pandas object. So we'll see the example without wasting our time. Again the same thing, you have all these things, you have your pandas, NP is not used anywhere, okay. I have just imported for other purpose, so just ignore NP when you are trying. You have import pandas as PD, int equals English physics, the usual style, marks is also given. Create it, pandas creation is done. Next, you can see I have given in the highlighting section, this is your new function. If I give df1, again it is not pd dot, it is df1. df1 dot head of 3, the function is actually fetching the first 3 values. As you can see, I have tried it over here and then I have given the output in the same highlighting color. So this is your original answer. That is your df1 which you created. When you write, see, I used a new set of variable here, st1. I can even write df1, but then what happens? The original value will be lost from df1. So when you do this, it is preferred that you use a new variable. Nothing wrong if you use the same variable, but still. So st1, when you print, this is what you are getting. English 78, physics 90, CS 94. The first three values, depending upon what I give here, that will fetch. Suppose if I give a value which is not matching with your series, then what will you do? For example, if you give there 0, it won't work. Sorry. It won't work. And suppose if you give there 99, which is not part of it, it won't work. So understand that your number inside this head or number inside the tail, which is going to come, both will be working only if the size which you give is less than the original size of your Panda series. That is the index values number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the maximum you can give over here. So I have done the same thing with TL2, fetches the last two values. So from here, these two values are fetched and that's your output. Again, very clearly understand, I have used a new variable st1. Here I have used another new variable called as st2. So fetching and storing is your choice where to store, but preferably a new variable. So we are coming to the end of this section where you have to just recollect the corresponding functions you learned. The first function was to extract your index and your values, where that bracket was not given. If you check with your second session video, you will understand that. Whereas sort values, you have sort underscore values, you have a function style. Even head and tail is also a function style. So when you learn, you create a set of, a column where you write all these functions together and understand and compare and contrast what is it doing. I don't think there is much confusion because all these functions are new to you. Because similar functions are not found in NumPy, you won't be having any issues with it. Now, so we finished learning tail also. By default, if the arguments are missing, then how this tail and head will work? It will automatically return 5 rows, and first 5 rows with head and last 5 rows with your tail. So you can check out with that style also. Remember, only by trying all these things by yourself, you will become an expert in this area. Now I have an assignment for you. When you write down this in your notebook, when I am sending this Word file, I want you to find out this answer, so that in my next session when I come back, I will be providing the answer to you. We can check it out whether this is right or wrong. But before that, using your WhatsApp group, I would like to see your answer in your notebook. Okay? So take down it, write a code to find the first 3 top marks and the 3 least scoring marks from the above pandas object df1. So what you have to do here, you create a series where you store df1. Just like I created, you can give your own subjects. For commerce people, give your own subjects. For science people, give your own subjects and give your whatever marks you want there. If you want, you can add one more extra subject. So make it 6 subjects, okay? And you try to fetch the first 3 top marks. Remember, head will not give a sorted list. So you should use sort underscore values and then the head. So that's a clue for you. Let me see how you work it out and show me. There is no such difficulties. Remember, once again, I don't want the the first 3 marks which I created. I want from the list or from the series which you create, who is the top scorer or which subjects has the top scoring. That should be fetched, the first 3 top marks. Similarly, which subject has which is the last 3 subjects having the least scoring. That is how you have to set. So don't confuse. I hope you have understood this clearly. Take down it by yourself and try it out now itself if you can, or later when we come back with your WhatsApp group. Now, almost the first section. That means what I have shown you is in series your one-dimensional array creation. I hope you are getting it. One dimensional array creation, if I go back to my EC note section and show you. Just the same, that list we created or the array we created, if I write all these things here, this is your data in your series, and that CS, Chem, accountancy, business studies. Suppose if I write physics or echo, normally what we write here 0, 1, 2, 3 for your one dimensional array, or even for your string, or even for your list. But instead, your pandas help us to identify the same thing with the help of a new index. So this is what we have learned, how to create it in a more stylish manner using your pandas, how to create a one dimensional array with a more stylish manner with your pandas. So let me go back to that. I am just showing you that you will be able to identify once when I finish this and when I move on to a two dimensional array, the difference. That is why I am showing that properly. So vector operations. What is this vector? You have learned or you have heard that word in maths. Arithmetic operation, relational operation, whatever vectorized operation you can do, that can be done with your pandas also. See, addition, difference, multiply, division, even your remainder finding, and all these things can be done, provided, remember, difference and division will only work if it is a numerical value. But your addition or your multiplication or your relational operations work even if your data is a string value. But let's see one example, okay? See, your data is numerical value. I have tried here creating a series again, and I am directly giving in print. If you want, I can store df1 plus 2 in another variable, that is df2 equals df1 plus 2, and then print df2. You will get the same answer, but I didn't do that. I just tried it directly. So you can see that when you do this, see, the answer came like that. See, df into 2. The original value is right now multiplied with 2, and that is shown. df1 minus 3. Original value is from 78, it changed to 75, 87, 91, 96, 94. I can try with df1 by 3, df1 percentage 3 also. As you know, df1 by 3 will give you the quotient, and df1 percentage 3 will give you the remainder. All this works because your data value is numerical. Imagine it was the opposite way. English, physics, CS, accountancy, echo came here, and marks when that's it. That means your index becomes your marks and your data becomes your int. Then what happens? This will work. df1 into 2 will work. Why? Because you are multiplying, and as you know, if you do into 2, English will come 2 times, physics will come 2 times, and so on. No issues. Addition also no issues. But difference will create a problem. Okay? Division will create a problem. So check it out, all this, which I have not shown with an example here. That is for you to understand. But when I come back, when the assignment is there, I will be providing seriously one set of assignment with this. So that time, no confusion should be there with numerical values and string values. So vectorized operation, I make it very short because we all know the vectorized operation properly. One small example with your relational operator. You remember the relational operators, right? What are the relational operator? Less than, greater than, equal to, all those things. One relational operator section I have given here. Same example, okay? If I give print df1, df1 is df1 series, df1 series, open the bracket, here is my index given. I have made a small mistake by not providing a square bracket, see df1 greater than or equal to 97. Can you guess the output? I hope you can guess it easily, because now the answer will be just printing only those value which is greater than 97. That means from the original one. Greater than 997 means only 99 will be printed. So that way you can give any such conditions without any corresponding loop or anything. So that completes your relational operators and vectorized operation. Remember, like this, I can give any such relational operator and get a value. So check out how this comes. This is somewhat similar to our Boolean indexing in your NumPy, isn't it? Looks the very same. So automatically you can complete it by checking out all the other output question which I am planning to give as assignment. Now the last section here, one small assignment again. Create a Panda object with 5 states as index and its populations as data. Find the state with population more than 1 lakh. Tip is shown above. So take down and try it out by yourself. This completes your Pandas series section. After this, we will be moving on to 2-dimensional array sections. So clearly understand all these things and get back to me. Thank you.